in my foot.
In your arms.
Hey everyone, my name is Natasha Pickowicz. I am a pastry chef and writer based in New York City. Now we're gonna make the olive oil whip with the drizzle. We've all had whipped cream, best thing ever, but did you know that you can also emulsify a liquid fat like olive oil into the whip? So whipped cream, I'm gonna do it by hand because we're only gonna do 1 cup of cream, but you wanna make sure that from the store you're looking for heavy whipping cream. And we're gonna add a little sweetness because, you know, the drizzle is a little bit on the savory side and the cream is not seasoned. So I think when you add something like powdered sugar, that's gonna complement the mouthfeel of the drizzle. So if your powdered sugar looks a little clumpy like mine, you just throw it through a little tea strainer and kind of sift it. So add two tablespoons of powdered sugar. I mean, you can add a little bit less, but it's not gonna make the whipped cream taste super sweet. It just makes it really silky and smooths it out. And then I'll start whipping. So I'm whipping no drizzle yet, but this is I just wanna give it a chance to whip first, because as soon as you start adding extra fats, the cream becomes harder to whip. So we're gonna build the body first, and then we'll add the drizzle, and it'll emulsify into the whipped cream. So at this point, when you kind of got these soft peaks, this is the perfect time to add the drizzle. So just like this. See how it's kind of mixing evenly in? And now we can really... I used to work at this restaurant where I would have to make souffles to order. Oh my gosh, at the end of every service, my arm would be like throbbing. It would be so sore. So this is what I'm looking for in a layer cake, a very stiff whip that will spread and kind of not keep inching and moving around. Okay, now we have our delicious olive oil whip. And we're gonna use this with one of my core recipes in the Graza cooklet. That's the olive oil chiffon. But we're only gonna need half for this recipe.
That's a pro move right there.
The great thing about a sponge cake is, well, it's like in the name of the recipe. It's a sponge, which means it has a great delicate crumb that is super absorbent. So just take a pastry brush, nice clean pastry brush, and just kind of load it up with the soak. And we're really literally just gonna paint it on. And I love doing this task. It's just so satisfying to watch the cake kind of receive the soak. So I think the trick here is to not overdo it because we don't want a soggy cake. So once the cake is all absorbed, feels good to me, then we can add our whip. So again, I wanna make sure it's super nice and stiff because when we roll it up, we don't want the cream to kind of squirt out the sides. We want it to be like nice and stiff. So I'll kind of work it. So, nice stiff cream. Just kind of dollop it all over, and then you want to spread it out to the edges. Just add a little bit more. Okay. So you can see it's super stiff. It's not running off the sides, which means it'll stay in place when we roll up our cake. Just start nice and slow. Bring it up and over. See, I'm using the parchment paper to kind of guide it. Rolling it. And you peel the parchment back and you have this like beautiful little roll. I think the best way to do this is you can put it in the fridge and just let it hang out. You could also put it in your freezer and freeze it completely if you want to wait like a week to eat it. So we'll just get this in the fridge, keep it in its like nice little sling. That'll help it keep its shape as well. And we'll just put this in the fridge and we'll come back to it later and get that great little cross section. Okay, so I've let my roulade chill in the fridge. You can wait a day, you can put it in the freezer and wait just like an hour or two. But I think the idea is like you really want it to rest before you attempt to cut it so it's not too soft. So pretty. Just right on a plate, just like this. I mean, I always have my drizzle like at the table because I'm always just wanting to finish everything with a little bit of extra. It's also kind of like the last thing that brings the whole outfit together. So it's just nice to have that final visual flair. So just a little like that. And let's try it. Wow, so creamy. Kind of equal parts this delicious whip with the cake. So let's see. So good. We made this all in one day. It was gonna be even better tomorrow. But as it is, you just get that like incredible robust flavor from the olive oil, but it's sort of softened by all of these beautiful like dessert elements. And it feels like really unusual, I think, for a dessert. But it kind of also familiar because I think we've all had kind of like a cake roll like this before. But yeah, so special. Okay, we've walked through all of these fun little core recipes, these building blocks for you, and it was such a blast to be able to think about how we're building out our own personal dessert repertoire at home. Like, what are the back pocket recipes that you have that you can add into this little equation and make, you know, whatever dessert you want. Day 1, day 2. So everything is put just into this cooklet that I did for Graza. So any olive oil that you get, it will come, you'll get the cooklet. And yeah, let me know what you think.
And that's a wrap. That is so good. It's actually